The institutions are calling, and Piff is the only one with the answer. You either die a hero or live long enough to see yourself become B2B SaaS.
GM Pythian's glorious morning. This video just gets me going no matter what the mood I'm in.
It is good. I like that it sounds like a combination of Mike Cahill and Ryan Gosling. That's my favorite part of the video.
I think they might be the same person. I don't want to, I'm not saying anything. They just might be the same person. How are we doing, sir?
Very well. How are you doing?
Good. Just a tad under the weather. I think the AC got me again. So a little, sore, or maybe it's just the banging workouts I get out of the way that gets me sore. But no, doing very well. Another big week. No, just another beautiful one. How about you?
Lovely. I had a good week. I've been playing around with the Pump Fun streaming. I just was streaming our baby chickens, which we had at home, which was a good, fun little experiment, which I really enjoyed. It got me extremely bullish on what Pump Fun is doing. It's all very exciting, and I'm watching with great interest to see how it plays out. It's very interesting. I enjoyed it, and it was just fun setting up the baby chickens stream and doing that too. But I have to rug it at the end of the week because I'm going to be away for 2 weeks and can't keep
the streamer. You mean, no?
The stream, yeah. The chickens are going to stay alive, but the stream itself is going to be gone. But whatever money is left over in the contract is going to be donated to the local wildlife rescue sanctuary place, and I'll get a receipt, do a little post on Twitter about it on Friday.
Nice.
Which would be pretty cool though. It was
nice.
A fun little experiment for a couple of days.
Spreading the wealth, love it, and saving animals.
Yeah.
Very cool. But now, very excited about this one. We've got Jacques from Limitless on, so I'm just gonna make him jump on. GM, sir.
GM.
How are you doing today?
I'm doing great. Very busy, but we get to that in a little bit, but feeling great.
No, and thanks for taking the time then, first of all. Really cool to have you on, and I'm very excited to learn more about prediction markets. I think it might have been the most PMF type of product, and it feels like it has made it into mainstream for what was it, the US elections, where everybody was just screenshotting poly markets on a bunch of stuff. But yeah, so super excited to have you on. To kickstart things, we'll take it easy on you. Can you introduce yourself? Tell us a bit about your background and how you got into crypto.
Yeah, sure. So I'm Jacques. I'm the head of BD at Limitless. And I've been riding the roller coaster of crypto for the last 10 years now, both as a founder and then working professionally. How I got into it, it's a fun little story I like to tell all the time. I was studying at NYU, doing a business major. And right next to the New York Stock Exchange, there was actually a Bitcoin center. And it was one of those days where they had a Bitcoin conference / talk, and it says free beer pizza. And, as a broke college kid, that was very appealing to me.
Can't say no to that.
Yeah. So, I got in, sat there. So it was an interesting audience because I think people don't give credit for how in the know traditional finance people are, because in the audience, there was a lot of people in suits, bankers. And you just had this one crazy guy on the stage screaming how Bitcoin is going to replace all the banks. It's going to be the future of digital money. And then that really caught my attention, caught my interest. I went and did some of my own research. And I think very early, maybe a day after, I was like, okay, yeah, this is going to be the new financial rail of the world. Like, right, it's a permissionless internet financial infrastructure. So that's how what got me hooked. And I worked on various projects, both on my own, but as well as professionally. My last engagement was with Ethmos. It was unfortunate. Chain events, they have great technology, just didn't quite get the traction that they need. So yeah, now at Limitless, driving growth. We're launching a lot of very exciting things. But yeah, I'll just leave it at that. Keep it short.
Awesome. Prediction markets are huge, or a lot of people think they're going to be huge. Did you come into Limitless with that in the back of your mind, or have you been following along with prediction markets?
I have to be perfectly honest. I didn't quite like. I kind of knew prediction markets were really taking off. Especially with poly market and elections, right? But when I joined the team, it was based on sort of like the merit team. It was a great founding team. We had, CJ, who I knew 5 years ago, back at my time working at RAM, driving, for GameFi growth, working on Axie Infinity and these projects. He was working at Atlantis World. And we knew like very early on we wanted to work together, but just wasn't the right time. And then also we have Roman, who like was one of the key members that really drove for like the Snapchat filters that really took off by storm. And Hadima, who was this great product designer, with the hyper simple model that we roll out. So it was this fantastic team, and that's what really sold me on like why I wanted to join the team. But obviously as we worked together and like developed the product, it was clear to me that this is gonna be if not $1 billion company, it'd be a multi-billion dollar company.
That's really cool. How old is Limitless? How long has Limitless been around for?
Yeah, so we started, I would say September of last year. So I think just to the date, it's a year. I think there was a little bit like of a transition period because like Limitless as a company sort of continue on from the project that CJ was working previously. So there wasn't like a definitive start date, I would say. It was a lot of like experimenting by CJ and it eventually landed on prediction markets. So, yeah.
Yeah, cool. What's CJ's background? He's the founder, I'm assuming.
Yeah, CJ is the founder CEO. He is a hustler. He's right now actually in the US, working with the base team very closely. He's in base camp. He's
Okay.
raising capital for the company. He's just nonstop. He's a machine. Like, man, like if you ever met him, it's like he's an animal. Like he just like you see me online all the time, but like he is yeah a bulldozer.
Yeah, awesome. So Limitless is on base. If he's at base camp, Limitless is on base.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
Yeah. Is it fully functioning at the moment? Are you guys in open beta, closed beta? What's the go there?
We're fully live. Again, like we've been live for again September of last year, and we've been hitting crazy record of users. I think just yesterday we processed over 2 million in bets and trading volume, and then also I think we were 100 off from 3,000 daily users.
Mhm.
So we're really like we're live, and you can check it out right now. And we have a campaign going. It's the hourly profit, and it's sort of our wrapped up, something fun for the community to do to our season 1 points. We had a lot of great team captains. We had Ignis DeFi, we had Taiki. I'm not sure if you guys know Taiki, but in the DeFi summer,
Yep.
farmers, right? The humble farmer. I was a big
Yep.
fan, and so it was really amazing to see him come on and support our platform. But yeah, we're live, and yeah, if you haven't checked it out yet, definitely check it out. Join the team. It's lots of fun.
Is there anything you're playing with on Limitless at the moment? What are you looking at, Jux?
Yeah, it's I basically have a routine. It's like wake up, wake up at 7, get ready for the day, and then take a bet, take a bet on the hourly market at 8. Check the results. Sometimes be happy, sometimes be disappointed. Do it again. So yeah, very excited about the wrapping up of season 1 points. Also, we're getting prepared to go into a market, with a new product. I can't say too much about what the new product is, but I think people have guesses, and I think most people will guess correctly. So that's all I can say about that for now.
So you do your
see you've
research
got-
and you know what's next.
If you keep an eye on our timeline and and on the team captains, like you know what's gonna come. So
But yeah, as you said, you actually have your Dune dashboard that really tracks all your metrics, and I was
Yeah.
checking it out this morning, just curiously, and I think you guys broke the 300 now 10 million mark of total trading volume,
Yeah.
and the charts are up and to the right. So
Yeah.
big congrats on that. What so it's or to me it feels the growth explosion is quite drastic. It's pretty exponential. How do you explain it? Is it points? Is it new types of betting markets I could prediction market I could do? Anything in particular that sticks out?
Yeah, I mean, I think it's a long time in the making. I would love to take all the credit for like the hourly profit campaign and everything else, but that's not the case, right? We had a great product team that's developed like the hyper simple model. Again, if you see the interface, it just have a chart, and then just have two options. Do you think it would go above the price point and below the price point of the asset at the starting hour? And that's I think making that simple was a key driver, and then making it putting out there with marketing campaigns really drove the growth. In terms of like, we have a lot of things going on, right? Like we started our points campaign in July, and that really started like gain traction and gain consistent users, and users are coming back to like farm the points. But as they farm the point, they get to know the product better. And then we did a lot of work with Wallchain, was another one of our great partners, where we launched our own leaderboard, and we were able to connect with a lot of great creators, on Twitter, do the Wallchain leaderboard. We ran a lot of fun things with them as well. We did like leaderboard markets where like they were trying to guess who would be number one at the end of the week. We ran a lot of those. Really engaged with the content creators, and then with our hourly profit, like I mentioned, we onboarded with these creators that we onboarded through Wallchain. We launched this trading competition and really just drive that activity and attention to the very top. And I'll be remiss if I don't add that our hourly market is entirely resolved by the PIF Oracle. So glorious morning to the Piffians.
He knows the law. I love it.
Yeah.
Love it. What's the process like for spinning up a new market on Limitless? If somebody's got like a suggestion for a market, or if there's a certain market that you guys are looking at, what's that process like?
So for us, our main thing is focus. And our focus right now and for the foreseeable future was short-term price prediction on major assets. So, the best chance of getting a market launch for like where you have the entire team's energy would just be, a specific major market that is of interest and, obviously supported by PIF. So that's like the best way to get a market launch. We do like promotion market. We like to do fun markets to attract attention, but those are the type of markets that we go after. In terms of like, if a creator wants to submit a market for review, I'm your best guy. Like I'm always active on Twitter. If I think there's a fun idea, that could like drive a lot of engagement and drive a lot of attention, we're always happy to do that as well. As we done with the Formula One market that, Pepito and I was talking about before we came online.
So not yet permissionless market. That was going to be my question a bit.
Yeah. I don't want to sound like I'm dancing around that question, but no, not yet permissionless market creation. And the key reason for that is not that. There's two key reasons for that. One is the Oracle, how we be able to resolve that market, and also like the creation of market, which includes the resolution, but also creating that market. Like with a lot of these events contracts, right? You need to get the language right. And getting the language right takes a very, very long time. Like you might see us put out like the leaderboard market, but that leaderboard market took us maybe near a week just to make sure the description is all correct. And also like, if there's anything happening with the market, our policy is to refund our traders. So that has a cost on us, not getting the description right and not be able to resolve the market. So that's problem number one. And problem number two is just liquidity of it, right? You might have a very interesting market, but if you don't have people putting orders on the books, it's not going to create a very great trading experience. So those are the two key factors that determine whether or not a market gets created.
And so about the liquidity, I'm interested. How who are your LPs?
Sorry.
Who are the LPs for your liquidity, pretty much?
Yeah, our LPs are our own users actually.
Okay.
So I don't think like it's a big reveal. That's to say, like we attract a lot of poly market traders, a lot of very seasoned poly market traders, and we do have liquidity incentives for for traders in general that come and sort of close the spread on our books for the markets. So that's like a big source. Like we don't, we are. I don't know how much like disclosed, but we are talking to like bigger institutions. But I think one of the challenges, maybe like it's less so these days, just because how popular prediction market has gotten. It's hard to find traditional institutional market makers for prediction markets because it's not similar to like market making on a DEX or even on an exchange, where you have two assets and you basically just have to balance them. Like when we talk about like Uniswap in AMM, like you have USDC pair and you have like ETH pair, you just need to balance the pool, right? And you suffer some impermanent loss here and there, but if you do it right, you generate profit. With prediction markets, you have a yes share and you have a no share, and your goal is to balance those two tokens shares, if you will. But one of them at the resolution of the market is always going to go to zero, and the other one always go to one. So if you're not very careful and you're not very sophisticated as a liquidity provider, it's very easy to get wrecked. So it's not, so that's why like a bulk of our liquidity is driven by seasoned poly market traders because they know the system, they know how to provide liquidity. But obviously we do want to like onboard more people to provide liquidity in a variety of markets.
Is that a difficult conversation when you're talking to these larger liquidity providers? Because I'm guessing, maybe I'm wrong, but I'm guessing this is a market that they're not, well, you've just said it's a market that they're not used to trading in, and there's probably a lot of nuance that goes into that, them being able to effectively provide the liquidity within that market. And because it's such a nascent industry, I would imagine it's a lot harder to get sort of TradFi market makers and LPs on there than it is to get crypto native people.
Yeah, I think that's a good summary of the situation. But again, I think with the uptick in interest and sort of adoption of prediction market, I do think that's going to change. I do think like institutions that maybe haven't previously looked into these areas would definitely have. I know for sure like there are even dedicated market makers, prediction market makers. It was a funny sentence to say. That are popping up. Like it's they see the growth of the industry, they see the potential there. So I think hopefully it's going to be easier and easier.
Love it. Very cool. What would you say is Limitless's edge on the market here over somebody like Polymarket at this stage? Because there's, I think, only a handful of prediction markets that are actually live and people are using. There's Limitless, Polymarket, and then Kalshi that I can think of off the top of my head, and I don't know of any others. Perhaps you do, but I'd love to know sort of where you guys think Limitless's edge is and what that is.
Sure. I definitely do know more top of my head. If any competition is listening out there, we are watching, we are paying attention, and we do. We are crypto nerds, right? Like we like to see the innovations being developed, in this sector. Paradigm came out with a very interesting PM AMM model that that personally I've been very interested in. Like whether or not, I'm not saying again like this is just speaking as like a personal interest. I don't know within the company we'll implement it. But yes, so in terms of our edge, it's just relentless focus. Really, like it sounds cheesy or corny, whatever you want to call it. It's just we know what we're doing, we know what works. It's short-term price predictions on major assets. That's our goal. We want to make it super easy for the users. We don't want to have a super complicated system where the user have to like worry about a lot of different factors. Again, if you go on our mobile interface, there's two buttons that ask you, do you think the price is going to go up at the beginning of the hour or it's going to go down at the end of the hour? and then how much you want to bet. So it's like a literally like a 3-click process to enter into position. So our focus is just getting on these short-term price prediction on major assets and making it super simple for the users. That's our edge.
Yeah. Do you have any major product differentiation or things that you're working on? Like prediction markets at the moment are pretty not basic isn't the right word, but they're pretty pared back and very, very simple, as opposed to someone jumping on Hyperliquid and trying to trade perps and everything, which is partly why they're popular and why people use them. But how do you think about product differentiation and building in new products that people are able to play with? What have you guys got on your mind there?
Yeah, so we have a lot of internal experiments. I can't share most of them, unfortunately.
I can imagine. Yeah.
Yeah, but we do have a lot of exciting things in the pipeline. I would just say this though. I think prediction market is becoming more and more a primitive. I think for a very long time, like prediction market sort of operated outside of the usual Web3 ecosystem. I would say it sort of attracted its like own audience. As Poly Market has done with the election markets that they ran 4 years ago. But I think now, with GandorFi, with like all these other protocols building on top of the prediction market primitive, I think that's going to be a very interesting area for us to focus on as well.
Can you tell us a little bit more about that? What are these other projects building on top of prediction markets? What does that look like? Because I actually haven't. That's new to me.
Yeah. So there are a lot of like market aggregators. There are a lot of GandorFi is a really interesting example. It's something that we have thought about internally, but it's just the execution would require a lot of resources. Basically, it allows you to take your poly market position as a collateral, and use it in a DeFi way. I think that is a very interesting example. I mean, obviously, it has its challenges where, again, usually when you're collateral, it might it might drop a lot and then you get liquidated on your collateral, but you're dealing with a collateral now that is not only could go to zero, programmatically go to zero, literally, and also has the time factor involved because one day, at some time period, the market's going to resolve and that token's value either will go to 1 or 0. So there's just a lot of nuances in terms of building on top of prediction markets as a primitive. But yeah, I think GandorFi it just exemplifies that as the first attempt in that direction.
And I also keep hearing about leverage on those prediction markets, which I'm no mathematician or pure economist, but I don't see how you make it happen. But it's could be interesting. I mean, very interesting, and I'll check it out what they're doing because that sounds interesting.
Yeah, please share with me as well. Again, we're in this space, but we are heads down building, so we're trying to keep an eye on what's new and exciting out there, but we don't catch them all. So
I see you guys have got a chat box on the website too, which I love.
Yeah. We had it could get quite rowdy in there sometimes.
Yeah, I can imagine.
But that is something that I think part of the product appeal has to be fun too. I think with a lot of the products, I think in the last year or so, a lot of them tend to be a lot more utilitarian. I think that's as a effect of the bearish market that we had in the last year or so. But I do think if you don't have a fun product and you don't feel excited to wake up and check your positions or whatever the case may be, and banter a little bit with everyone, calling them regards, it's you gotta have a little bit of fun.
Yeah, for sure.
And surely, I mean, I think Chuck, you can talk about this a lot more than I do, but it feels like community around such products seems so important because first of all, I'm gonna go back to Limitless to gamble and to predict the price of BTC in the next hour. But I'm meeting my 10, 15 friends that we are doing with this together, and it kind of reminds me in the US of Barstool Sports. I don't know if you guys are know much about this, but it's very much a gambling focused media where they do a bunch of podcasts and stuff like that around, and that feels like, I mean, they tried launching a gambling app or their own gambling sports book that didn't last too long, but it feels like it's such an important and can be quite the differentiator in terms of stickiness to your product. Is they love the product and they're making friends along the way.
Yeah, 100%. And I think very early on, as soon as I joined Limitless, I reached out to Pepito, say, hey, you guys have an X community on Twitter, and that's fantastic. We would love to copy that, and we did. Like we launched our own Limitless Street community, and that's been like a key driver of growth for us as well. Just like people posting their positions, making trades, bantering with other people. I think like the Pythian community really was like the inspiration behind that. Like we wanted people again to use our product, but also like form social connections with other people who use the product. And like the hourly profit also is an example of that, where we had like all these great creators come on, and we had like a chat for all the captains that have different teams, and they were bantering. And right now Ignis is kicking everyone's ass. I think his team has something like 500,000 in trading volume already. And
I was just
like,
looking. It's just under 1 million. He's at 960.
Oh really? I haven't checked this
Yeah.
morning. So yeah, and everyone's like, it's so funny in the chat. It's like, who the hell is on your team? Like, do you have like the Avengers of crypto on there? Like, is Michael Saylor in the group somehow? Like, yeah, it's
great.
lots of fun.
I think the prediction markets community, let me start again. I think it's a lot easier for prediction markets to build community around what they're doing, because it's far more adversarial than traditional trading. It's either a yes or a no, and you're either on the right side or the wrong side, and people can really bounce off of that with each other. So that's really cool. I love to see how that's working. Can you walk us through a little bit how the hourly profit competition works and what people can do if they want to get involved with that?
For sure, yeah. So the TLDR is that it will be a 2 1-week competition. So we just started the first week this Monday. So and then we have the next one starting next week, next Monday. And there basically is very simple. You trade on the markets, our hourly markets, and your top 50 markets that you have the best ROI in will be like sort of your score. And all your best ROIs in those 50 markets will be added up, and that'd be your individual score. For individuals, we have a cash prize. So it's 3,000 for the first place, and then 2,000 and 1.5 for the second and third. And then same thing for next week. For the teams, we have a team prize where if your team has the biggest trading volume, you get 2 times the points that you earn during the competition. Second place, 1.5 times the points, and then 1.25 times the points for the third place. So that's the basic outline of the competition.
Cool. And I'm guessing you can choose whether or not you want to get on, join a team, or you want to do it as an individual, or like can somebody in the Pyth community, for example, spin up a Pyth team that other Pythians can join? How does that aspect?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, actually, I would love to see a Pythian team on it. Right now, the team creation is still manual. Like we didn't to be honest, the training competition was just our way to like do something fun to wrap up points. Originally, we only planned to have like 1,000 seats in the competition, but I think very quickly we realized like we do need more seats. So I think we're up to 7,000 seats at the moment. And right now, the engineers are scrambling a little bit because again, like it was just incredible demand for the competition. I think we are gonna release more seats, and probably like either later today or just in the coming days. So yeah, we'd love to have a Pythian team. We're adding more seats, we're adding more capacitor servers. It's funny too because I told Val, our head of engineering, it's like, hey Val, it's like you sure we're ready? I was like, yeah. I was like, Jack, like what do you mean? Like we're ready. And then like just the other day, it's like, Jack, like you're melting the servers.
We're not ready.
No, like Valpo too. We had a few minor hiccups on the site, but it's mostly running smoothly. So
awesome, I love it.
Big props to Val if you're listening, Val. Yeah.
Cool. Can you tell us a little bit more about the points? You're running a point system at the moment. It's
Yeah.
tied to this the hourly profit. Is there anything else people can do to take advantage of the point system? Can you tell us a little bit more about potentially what that that leads to in the future?
Is it for exploring a potential protocol token?
Yes, it's exactly what the ball man said. So no, it's yes. I can't say too much, but as going back to the points, actually it's not tied entirely to the hourly profit competition. You actually could still
Okay.
earn points outside the competition. So if you just go on and trade today, you still be eligible for points. I think that there's a minimum volume requirement, so you have to trade at least 200 US dollars in volume in total. So and afterwards, we do have different calculations. Those calculations are, like depending on like you get some credit when you provide liquidity. Obviously when you make a trade and you hold on to your trade until the resolution. So there's a lot of different criteria for getting points. But the points is running in conjunction with the hourly profit. The hourly profit is just something fun that we wanted to build a focus, generate some interesting activity before we wrap up the point season.
That makes sense. That makes sense. It's really cool. I'm just playing through the platform at the moment. It's a nice, simple UX that's very pleasing.
Yeah. Again, big props to Dima and the product team to making it like such an amazing and simple experience. It's
And I'd recommend anyone interested to go check out the docs because, yeah, I don't want to get into technicalities, but there's quite a few interesting architecture stuff that you guys are doing on the Nigrisk thing, which groups or does multiple outcomes,
Yeah.
groups the no shares and so on. So yeah, if anyone here is interested, I'd recommend checking out the docs because I don't want to butcher it, and we might not be the most exciting conversation ending this talking about a bunch of club and Nigrisk systems.
Yeah.
I have a question that I've wanted to know about Polymarket for a long time, and perhaps it applies to Limitless too. How do you resolve markets that don't have an Oracle feed, and how do you reliably resolve them if there is some potential gray area in those particular markets? What's that process like? Because obviously that's a huge risk to your not only reputation but your liquidity providers and your users. I'm really curious to know how that process works.
Yeah, for sure. I think I alluded to in the beginning where whenever we decide to create a new market, but the bulk of the time is just spending on the resolution criteria. We want to make sure that the resolution criteria are not only comprehensive but understandable. Like we could provide a 10-page document on how the market will resolve, right? But no one's ever going to redo that 10-page document. We need to make it as clear and concise as possible to the end user, but also as ironclad as you can do with natural language. I mean, lawyers exist for a reason, right? Like they argue the finer details of the language. So it's a very complicated and very difficult challenge. Thankfully, we have an amazing in-house markets team led by Shashko and Shasha, and they handle a lot of the market sort of description, and then also they handle the market resolution. So long answer short, we do handle those specific events contracts in-house. Those
Yeah,
in-house.
there was a huge what was it? Was it the Zelensky wearing a suit scandal on Polymarket where
Yeah.
in the end we didn't know if no one could say, oh, is this a suit or not he's wearing. And then the what is it, Yuma protocol, where I guess it's still corruptible, or the Yuma voters and settlers can still have now their hands in the honey jar, I'd assume. So yeah, that's super dangerous, and now it makes tons of more sense why permissionless is, or at least a long way from today, or it feels like.
Yeah, on that market, I think we do have a bit of sympathy for Polymarket in that sense, like just because reasonable person could argue one way or the other whether it was a suit or not. But I think you're right in correctly pointing out that the dependency on UMA and how, like, there's a first party partner for sure, but at the end of the day, like, they have a different risk and reward calculation than Polymarket themselves have. So, that's why, like you mentioned, permissionless, permissionless prediction markets, it's a lot more complex, involves a lot more moving pieces than I think most people could appreciate.
Do you think permissionless permission markets will actually be possible, given that they need such strong legal oversight in order to remove as much of that gray area as possible? Because obviously some are actually very black and white and easy, but you could think of infinity scenarios where there's a whole multitude of different outcomes that perhaps were not considered. How would that actually work? You might not even have an answer for that, but feel free to say you don't. I'm just thinking out loud here because that's a really interesting part of the life.
I don't have an answer to it. I do have my, again, personal opinion on the topic. This is not unrelated to, obviously, Limitless and our roadmap in terms of what we will be doing. I do think permissionless markets, prediction markets are possible. I think, again, it might have to be something like a multi-token system where you have different alignments for different roles in the prediction market. So it might be that, you have a role, and again, like how that is designed, obviously I haven't figured out. I don't have an answer for that. But you have the role of the market creator, you have the role of the liquidity provider, you have the role of the resolver, and then like you have the role of the arbitrator. Sorry. So I think there is a way where you could outline the different roles and responsibilities that needs to be handled or assumed by different users, and then you align them correctly with the token economic incentives. I think like the best like token design I've seen is something like the graph, where like data indexer, decentralized indexer, where like they really figure out that like the specific roles that the user must inhibit and how to align them with the token. So I think it's definitely possible. I don't think it's going to be easy. I don't think it's going to be coming online like soon, but I think it would be very powerful and it would be very like scalable, because I think that's one thing people miss about having a token. Is like it's more than just having a token, and it's more than just decentralization. If you do it right, it's a great way to scale a platform.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. That's exciting. That's cool to know that the people doing this stuff and thinking about it, think a permissionless prediction market would actually be possible. It's a very interesting concept, actually. I like that.
Not too far from the permissionless Oracle thingy, but
sure.
How much risk? What's your risk? Are you risk averse, or how much risk are you willing to take on some random prediction markets that language is unsure, and Oracle for this is very shaky, and the price feed where let's just launch a price feed for this asset, and absolutely rugs and does lots of damage in DeFi. No, very cool. Do you have any questions from the audience? I didn't ask. If you have some, drop them here. So yeah, focus is on short-term, big A-list assets on Limitless. How short do you think how short can you go on those markets, or do you have an idea of what's the ideal shortest time for us for such?
Yeah, that's a great question. I think this is one where I could, give a little bit more detail. Deepak might not be happy with me afterwards, but we are
For now, it's an hour, right?
For
Pretty
now,
much.
it's an hour. For now, it's an
Okay.
hour. But we have been hearing demands for shorter durations from our users. I think like maybe the next segment we're looking at would be something like a 15-minute market. I think that makes a
Okay.
lot of sense. Obviously, like there is a lower limit to how low, like how short you could go, because at some point it just be more of a like a high frequency trading rather than actually like price predictions. So that's something that we're looking at right now. I think that would be interesting duration for us to launch. But again, like this is Dima, if you're listening, I hope I didn't spill the beans too much.
That's cool. I like the short time frame stuff is a little bit more degen and goes to our very short attention spans that we've all been building up over the past 5 years of scrolling reels and TikTok. So that makes a lot of sense from a marketing point of view. Separate to prediction markets, Jacques, what's been interesting you in the market at the moment? You're a crypto native user. Where's your attention at the moment apart from what you're doing with work?
Oh, I mean, in the last few weeks, basically just wake up Limitless, go to sleep thinking about Limitless. So haven't had too much time to think about all the exciting stuff happening in the crypto space, unfortunately.
Fair enough. Is there something that you maybe it's not on the Limitless roadmap or not something that you've discussed internally or whatever, but is there something that you would love to see in prediction markets moving forward? Is there a particular thing that you think that could be brought to market that isn't here yet, but prediction markets might be able to take advantage of?
I mean, other than like the concept of prediction market as a primitive, I think that would have been my answer. But also, like going back to your previous question, now something just came to mind. I do think that like, so I led GameFi at Ramp, and we were taking this world by storm with Axie Infinity, with DeFi Kingdom, and all that.
Mhm.
I don't think GameFi is dead. I mean, even then we knew that like it was hype. Like there was a lot of exuberant hype, and the infrastructure and then like even the legal system wasn't ready. But I think the idea of a digital intellectual property asset is a valid one. And I'm really curious to see how the IP story plays out. I mean, it's like one of the founders left, but like it seems like the project is still on track to do what they they want to do. So that's like another like unrelated area that I have a lot of, I guess, sentimental value, but also like I do think that that sector will eventually mature, and intellectual property on chain would be something that is feasible.
What about that do you think is interesting? Because I got to be honest, I've got no idea, and it's
Yeah.
something that I just totally faded. It doesn't make any sense to me.
Sure. I'm sure we're like maybe around the same age range. Like maybe I'm dating
Probably.
here, but definitely like in the really early days of the internet, I really love like MySpace and how people were able to like put music on their website, and like there were a lot of like music video remix and all that stuff. But like that's pretty much all gone. Like as the internet mature, and like you have these established video platforms, you have YouTube, you have Spotify, and you can't just like take someone's music and remix it and monetize it, right? Like so I think having the infrastructure to enable that is going to be so amazing, and blockchain is able to like, if we do it right, it's able to lower that cost of barrier. Because if I had to reach out to the Peter right now, it's like, hey, really love that intro video you did, want to do a remix of it, but I'm gonna monetize it. That's gonna take a long time to negotiate and like to work out a deal with. Whereas if he just like mints it as IP property, he states the rules like, okay, here's how you could use it, here's like what you have to pay me for the usage, and it just dramatically lowers that barrier of collaboration. So I'm personally like very interested and I'm very bullish on that idea as well.
We can
Yeah,
talk
okay.
in
So-
DMs, Jack, about this monetization.
We can work out a deal.
So it's kind of like permissionless access to intellectual property rights in a sense, and you pay based on the terms of that smart contract, for
Yeah,
example.
exactly. Like even now, like if I want to use a music, a song, right, to for a company publication, I probably have to get in touch with their label, and then
Mhm.
have to like do all these processes, and then like okay, well, how are you gonna use it, and like what's the royalty rate? Like that's like doing all that is gonna cost more than the value that it would generate. I just want to do something fun, to put out
Yep.
on Twitter, right?
Yep.
I don't want to have to negotiate all that. So that's why I see like there could be a lot of value to be had.
Okay, that's really cool. I'd not thought about that. Thank you very much for that, Jarks.
Yep.
You mentioned you did stuff for Axie Infinity as well. You still doing Axie stuff? Axie was huge for a huge portion of Southeast Asia, particularly in the Philippines.
Yeah.
There's actually a bunch of people in the PIF community who did extremely well and have managed to pull themselves out of poverty and all sorts of other stuff because of that whole era and what that meant for a lot of people. I'd love to hear a little bit more about how that played out for you as well, because there's a lot of
Yeah.
people who have some really interesting stories around all of that.
So my involvement with Axie Infinity was I was at RAM and we did the fiat on ramping for Axie Infinity,
Okay.
and I think very early on we noticed that as like a fiat on ramp company, our main focus is not the Web3 natives. It's about like people who are wanting to get into crypto. And then
Mhm.
gaming was just like this very easy gateway of getting people involved. Like people in gaming have the concept of the digital asset. Like this, like actually I made my first 10K, not off crypto or anything, but off playing Diablo 2. It was one of
Yeah,
the, I
right.
think it was the, yeah, like they had the marketplace. And then
Yeah.
I was, I think, in high school, and yeah, I loved Diablo as a kid. So I was there online at GameStop, waiting the night before to like get my hands on the first release. Got home, like grind nonstop, maybe slept for like 3 hours, and then beat the game. I think it was like 120th to clear the game. So I sat on a lot of items, and when the store came out, I was like, okay, I'll just put something up. Like I don't like I wasn't expecting anything. It's like $60 for like a sword. Like nobody's gonna buy this, but okay, let me just put it up and see what happens. And it sold.
Yeah.
And I think like for that, like that, it was that like for the very first time it clicked to me like, oh yeah, these are assets. Like these do have value. And I think the same thing with gaming, with gamers too. Like they understand the concept of digital assets. They understand that it generates value, so that like around we sort of made this connection and actively reach out to a lot of the gaming projects and like, hey, I think we could help you really accelerate the growth of your project, and that's exactly what we did with Axie Infinity.
Awesome. How long were you with those guys? That's a pretty significant portion of crypto history, that sort of year-long period where Axie was going nuts.
Yeah. I mean, again, I can't take the credit, all the credit for the Axie Infinity deal. Like Paulina was the head of business, and I really like sort of learned under her and worked under her. But I was with RAM for about 2 years, maybe a little bit more. Yeah.
Did you have a big focus in Asia and in Southeast Asia in particular? Or was it
Yeah, I
sort of
think it was
global? It was wherever.
it was global, but obviously it was like off the success of Axie Infinity, that was a region that we had a lot of like made a lot of logistic and infrastructure investment into. So that was a
Mhm.
big like sort of focus naturally, I would say.
Yeah, cool. That's cool.
Chop, it's gonna be time
Interesting.
for your last cue, as Jacques has to jump
Oh,
in a
okay.
couple.
All right.
So
Let's
I'm
do it.
cutting you short.
Yeah, no worries. Jacques, we have a question that we ask all of our guests at the end of the podcast, which is simply, if you were joining crypto today and
Mm.
were to give yourself advice, or to give anybody listening advice if they want to get into crypto and get
Mhm.
substantially involved and find full-time work or something, what is one piece of
Mhm.
advice that you would give to yourself or someone else joining today, knowing all that you know now?
Yeah, I mean, be passionate and be relentless. I mean, I think that's what kept me in crypto all these years. I definitely like there were periods and friends, a lot of my friends that have worked with have left the industry. It's a brutal industry. Like I think on the outside people hear stories of people getting rich overnight, like six-figure, BD roles and whatnot. Like, I think when you're in the industry, you realize how tough the competition is. You gotta be even tougher than a game. Like, you just gotta, you just take the punches. Be on Twitter, connect with people, get yourself involved in forums, just contribute wherever you think you can. Like, whether it's governance, whether it's community management, whether it's marketing. Like, you just gotta be ready to get your hands dirty, be ready to DM people, be ready to like cold email people. You just gotta be relentless in this industry.
Great advice. I love it. Jacques, thank you very much for your time. I've actually learned a lot. It's been great. I'm gonna have to jump on Limitless. Well, actually, final question: what do we need to do if Pythians listening want to start up their own team on Limitless? Should we reach out? Should we?
Yeah, just give me a
jump on
ping.
the platform?
Just give me a ping.
Depending on our negotiation on the Pepito video, we'll see.
Yeah, Captain Pepito has a good ring to it. So, be sure. Well, I do have to say, like, again, like, we're at capacity right now, so we are pushing the
Okay.
dev team to add more seats. I think we could get it done later today. So yeah, we'll keep you guys definitely give you guys notice.
Awesome. That sounds great.
Thank you, Jacques, and thank you for the time.
Yeah, thank you for having me
Thanks,
on. This
Jack.
was fantastic. I had a great time.
Pleasure, man.
Boom.
All right. I've been neglecting playing on prediction markets just because I don't need another way to lose money. And I don't, I haven't been, but I'm going to have to give Limitless a go. It looks good.
I think so too. I'm bored by election stuff. It feels overplayed and too long range. So yeah, I think the kind of Limitless focusing on a short frame. But I guess leverage is quite addicting. Like, so whenever I trade on perps and stuff like that. Maybe I shouldn't and just do predictions. But it's super interesting because makes it to mainstream, in my opinion, more and more. Kind of battles with the mainstream media as well, where it's like put your money where your mouth is type of thing, and it feels like sometimes the very questionable media outlets reporting stuff can use a bit of I guess people gambling on topics.
It is. I sit on the other side of the ledger with that, Pepito. I love the politics side of prediction markets for a couple of different reasons. One, there's just always plenty of drama around politics that people love to feed off. And two, there has been a consistent and ever present and getting larger problem with political polling over the past 10 to 15 years, which and the polling has been incredibly unreliable, and nobody has really managed to figure out how to make it more reliable and more predictive and to give better data. And I think prediction markets are actually one of the best ways to do that. There's like a concept around polling which has been trialed, and basically the prediction markets are a direct relation to that, which is instead of asking people, for example, who are you going to vote for, Pepito, at this election, you ask that person, who do you think your neighbor is most likely to vote for? And apparently asking that rather than asking the direct question of the person is far more predictive of the actual result, and people are more likely to give a better answer. And that's essentially what prediction markets are. Where do you, instead of asking what do you think your neighbor is going to vote for, what do you think all of these people with money are going to vote for? Where do you think that money is more likely to flow? I think it's a fascinating development, especially because these on-chain prediction markets are like all in real time, with real-time data being updated all of the time, and you can actually see the swings and roundabouts. It's like having a live 24/7 feed of polling data. Essentially, I think it's really interesting.
And I guess the actually checking on Polymarket, but yeah, they have 190 million volume on, for example, like the Fed decision in September, which I think is today or something like that. They announced.
The Fed meeting is in 7 hours, I think.
Okay. Oh yeah, I might actually just click on the market and see. And I guess people are gambling on that.
Yeah. Yeah.
Just wait.
We should
is there a
mention, by the way,
timers?
Pepito, we have a governance vote up and alive.
Yes,
For those
I think
tuning in,
there's
if
two.
you are staked. Yes, there is two. There is two. There's
There is
a
two.
community councils based one, and then a on-chain V's based one, right?
Yes. So wait, let me try to get the link. I'll share my screen real quickly so we do some. And because first time ever yesterday, going on the V2 version 2 of Realms, which is very
Oh yeah, it's very fresh.
looks
isn't it?
very good these days.
Yeah.
So let me present, share my screen. V2 Realms. You guys see my screen, right?
No, not yet.
Not yet. Oh yes, I need to. Give me a second. Add to stage. Boom. Here we go.
There we go.
But here you go to. I mean, look up through, I guess, Twitter, Twitter Realms, or I believe it's Realms DAO on Google. You'll find the website, and you have the Pith Network one where does those two. Ooh, I haven't voted on the second one. So
Lordy.
oh no, I voted yes. That's a bit weird. But yes, you have to OP Pip 81, which is yours, I think, more focused chop.
Yep. This is for our second 6 months, the budget extension for the second half of our 1 year term, covering 6 months. So that's that'll be going through and kicking off. We've got actually spent a good solid hour or two chatting with the rest of the council today about a bunch of different stuff that we're playing around with that people are going to be able to take advantage of if they want to start creating content for Pith and doing some stuff in the Discord and beyond. There is a lot of opportunities, which we've mentioned a couple of times now, for people who want to get really involved. So that's very exciting for the council's second term.
So that's the first one you'll see, and the second one, this CoPip 9, which is a lot what has been shared on the timeline on our blog with the, I guess, the phase 2 proposed by Duro Labs. That is a big one, and to get Pith data subscription model and to more off chains and this new institution product we've been talking about a bit on the timeline. That's about it on those two votes. Anything else I'm missing, Chop?
No, I don't think so. I think we've covered it. It's been another successful episode in the bag. What are we at? 21? Is this 21?
This is 21. This to 21. Guest for 22. Should I leak the guest today?
Yeah,
I think I should.
Who's been listening all the way to the end?
Because it's actually pretty funny because the Pith ecosystem account has tweeted support, some funny support to the wormhole, 2 purple balls, and asset that I totally steal from their own tweet. And it went up. It went pretty crazy. People are talking airdrops and so on. Monad. I don't know how this comes in here, but I do not know anything about what's wormhole cooking on the 7th. No, wait. They had dropped the date in the tweet. I can't remember. But yeah, they're cooking, and so we'll have Robinson on next week to maybe talk about that and no, just talk wormhole and everything they've been building.
Awesome. Sounds good. Are we talking to Robinson or some others in the team as well?
Robinson is locked in. If they want someone else on, that'll be great. I'll probably leave my seat for Mark on this one as well, because I think Mark is going to have a ton of insight and more of the technical and industry-wide stuff. But we'll see if he deems or if he wants to jump on. But yeah, Robinson Wormhole, our good ecosystem partner that enabled help us make the feeds go to 107 chains today.
Amazing. I love it. Looking forward to it. Chatting with Robertson, that'll be great.
Yep.
Pepito, it's been a pleasure, my friend, as always.
Yes. Voted first shot on both votes. It was amazing. Thank you, Loki. So go vote. Go vote. I guess maybe there's multi-voting. There's multi-voting maybe. But thank you for being a yes man, and do your research. Look at what the two proposals entail, and make your own educated decision. And we love you all, Pythians.
Thank you, everybody. See you next week.